we're pretty much ready. Cool. Oh, and we're good to go. Hey, and we're live, just in time. Actually, you stood up and then sat back down, so it felt like online, like you were just getting here. So welcome to On Set. I'm Daniel Norton. This is Dave and Fernando and the various actors who weren't introduced to me. The ensemble, yes. You'll be actor one or Justin. I think his name was Oscar.
No, at all. I wish my name was Oscar.
Oscar's such a cool name. You don't really get that so much anymore.
More used.
Yeah. All right. Justin and Courtney. All right, I'll remember that. We have Justin and Courtney here, and we're going to shoot a dialogue. We, for those who don't know, we stream online at noon every Thursday that we do one of these. So if you can't come, or you have a date, whatever, can't get out of it, you got to work, you're in school, like who cares about school? You can watch this at 12 o'clock on youtube.com/Adorama TV, like the people who are watching right now. Hi, Mom. And obviously we prefer to have you come here, or you should do both things, really. Any numbers I can get, I need. So do both. Come in and actually watch it on your phone while you're doing it. But today we're going to do a dialogue. We do this every, I don't know, couple of months, I guess, maybe? Yeah. And it's a fun process when we haven't screwed it up yet. So this could be the one. So get ready, right? So we're going to actually produce this dialogue pretty much live. We're going to walk through the steps of how to do it. We're going to actually shoot it. There will be some kind of exceptions to how we do it to what you would do, partially because we're filming in front of the audience here. And the guys will point out to you as we go those things, or ask questions if something seems really bizarre, and that's probably what it is. I am actually going to do it a little different today. If people have seen this before, is I'm going to let Dave, you're going to start talking first? Yep, I made that decision. I'm going to let Dave actually do most of the talking. Dave and Fernando are going to direct and put this whole thing together, and I'm going to be here just for the good looks. Specifically, I'm just here as the face, but I'll be in the audience with you guys. If you have questions, please ask, and they'll do their best. Also online, if you have questions, you can ask, I suppose. And I'll probably be easier to answer those because I'll be watching online as well. So I'll be here. By the way, I should mention, or I won't get my $7. This is sponsored by Arri. Sponsored by Arri. Arri Lighting, for those who don't know, is they make some professional lighting instruments that we're going to use today. I think mostly sky panels. Is that true? A couple of sky panels I see. I also see an L5. L5 is a pretty cool focusable light.
All of them are the C variant, so
C.
color changing.
Color changing, cool, so we can mess around with the color. And we're going to also use an Arri Alexa.
Although I don't know if we're going to mess with the color too much.
Alexa Mini.
Yep.
Which is a pretty cool little camera, so if you have camera questions, you can ask about that as well. And we got the stuff through Adorama Rentals, so I think I've mentioned all the things I have to mention. Oh, if you have used equipment that you want to sell to Adorama, I feel like I do all the commercials at the beginning. Yeah. This is like my commercial segment. Right. If you do happen to have equipment, we buy it. So if you are, let's say you happen to have an Arri Alexa Mini and you don't really want it anymore, you could sell it to us and then we would have it. If you want to do that, you can talk to the used department in the back.
Why
there's
you would
Andy.
Do that? I don't know.
Andy will give you a good price. Best in the business. It's insane. But no, well, if you do have anything, cameras, things that are photo related, not your car, not your house, not any of your extra clothes, but if it's like a camera, computer, I guess probably,
a camera
video
car?
camera for sure.
Camera car.
Possibly, I don't even think we really buy bags. So, but if you have an extra bag, I love bags. I have a collection, so if you just want to give me a bag, yeah, bags. Chewy also likes bags, so we can feel free to send the bags into us. Anything else?
Ona? No. Who do you?
I'm open to all kinds of bags. I mostly use Domke bags. I don't know if that. I don't think they're as trendy as they used to be. Domke was like this photojournalist from the 70s, I guess, but way before my time. And he made this camera bag. He might be the first dude that made a camera bag that was a photographer. So he started this all for us. So go Domke if you're still around. Bob Domke. I actually don't know his first name. Actually, Domke might be his first name, right? That could be a first name, don't you think? Would you be named Domke? Would you name your kids Domke? No, probably not. All right, well, we'll try it. So Dave's going to take over. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I think I'll sit in the audience.
Yeah, sure. Oh.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit right here.
That seat was saved just for you. Not really, but. Right. So we set up a little bit of a kind of a staging for a scene here. This is our sofa. Three chairs and some duvetine. And the end table. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Very simple. So basically, we've got this. This scene is from Mad Men, and what episode? Season
4, episode 7.
Season 4,
Conversation
episode 7.
between Peggy and Don after Peggy broke up with her boyfriend.
Right. So this is a conversation between Peggy and Don after Peggy broke up with her boyfriend, and Courtney is playing Peggy, and you are playing Don, obviously. Yes. I mean, have to. So then, as far as like the kind of general idea in this is a night scene. It's in his office, which is very big, and it has these really big kind of open windows behind him and next to him. And I said it's at night, I think already, but yeah, it's at night. So us shooting that here in the daytime, is tricky. So we're basically kind of blocking as much light as we can from the outside, and we're going to kind of roll with it. We've got a practical light here that is supposed to be the kind of the source of most of the light in this scene. So we're using that as our kind of like our inspiration piece, but we don't want to expose and use it as our primary light, because what will happen is the light itself will blow out, right? So if we lit the scene with just this light, even if we like put a really high powered lamp in it, we could get proper exposure on our scene and our actors, but this will be blown out. It'll be just like white, like clipping white, and that doesn't look good. So what we're doing is kind of, I don't know if we have it set up here yet. Yeah. So you can see in this shot here what we have so far. Obviously we have these overhead lights on still, but even without necessarily turning those, hey, you can turn them off. You see how like we have detail in this. It looks really dark, but it's there. We may play with our exposure a little bit to bring it up to make it more realistic, because you want it bright, you just don't want it too bright. And then we're going to use this sky panel, which is set to a similar color temperature to this the bulb that's in this lamp here. And then this is going to be our actual source of light. So it's kind of coming from generally the same position. We may move it in or move it around a little bit, depending on our final framing and how much power we need. We can, raise and lower the power of the light. But the idea is that it's going to hit both our actors and potentially spill onto our background here. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. And then on this side, we have a fill light, which is really just to kind of give a little bit of extra detail to the image. So the spots that this light are not hitting, right? So the camera side of our subjects is not going to be like completely black. It's going to have detail. Now, because we're in a store and we can't block out all the light, we may not even necessarily need it, because there is fill kind of coming from these directions here. So again, we're going to have to test and experiment that. You want to go over the lavalier microphones and everything?
You want to start setting the lights?
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just making sure we got everything here. We did not get the moleskin, right? Okay. So the what?
Just talk about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk about it. Use your words. Hey there, guys. So normally, when you're catching dialogue, the majority of the time, you want to keep a lavalier microphone on your subject, and have a boom on top of them with a shotgun microphone, trying to capture both I don't want to call them frequencies, but like having those different types of microphones in the different locations will get a more what was the word? Like it gives the audio more depth. So the majority of the times will want to do that whenever possible. If you only have a lavalier for your talent, that's what you go with. If you only got a shotgun, that's what you go with. But, ideally, that's the best situation. So usually you would have something like this. Did we take our shotgun out? Oh, why is it up there? See, they were smart. They're already putting a little C-stand with everything. So you would normally have, yeah. Oh, it's for the live stream, so they can listen to it. Okay, perfect. It would still be, your audio setup would still be something similar to this, where you would point it at your actors. If you have somebody manning your boom pole, again, ideal, and they would be on script. A professional audio person would be on script with the actors, knowing who's going next and jumping from actor to actor, depending on the situation. Again, low budget, you can't. I would probably recommend, if it's something where they're close together, I would probably get something like like a shotgun with a wider range. Sometimes you have microphones that are be really narrow, which would be perfect to knock everything out sound-wise, and would only capture that one thing it's pointing to. And then you have other microphones that will have a wider range of pattern, that if I were to aim it directly in between my actors, it would capture most of what they're saying around the wider it is. And then it would capture a little bit more of ambience as it goes, but it's a little bit of a give and take. So the combination of your boom and the lavaliers on your actors, which we're about to have them put on, will give you like a more robust, that's the word I was looking for earlier, more robust sounding audio. So one of the things we like to do when putting the lavaliers on, and we actually don't have with us right now, is a thing we call the moleskin. But you can get it in every pharmacy, or Daniel can charge you double what you would normally pay for signed moleskin. What it is supposed to be for calluses, I believe, and you basically put it on your skin, and it's safe to put on your skin, and gives it like a smooth surface. So what you would do is get 2 layers of that, just enough to cover the tip of your microphone, which is somewhere around here. You put 2 layers on it, one with the sticky part, and then you sandwich it in between with the microphone in the middle. I do have gaff right here. I can totally show it. Oh, thank you. So yeah,
This is my interview thing.
yeah. So it would be something like this, where you would have the soft pelt side on one, and then the sticky side on the other, with the moleskin. Oh, right. See, I don't do this as often as you do. And then you would. What you would do is you would put it on one side right here, and then sandwich it with the other, like so. And then you would stick it, again, it's safe for skin, so you could stick it to the skin or to the inside of the shirt. And then it would just stay hidden inside the t-shirt or shirt or whatever. But this is essentially what you would do. And it's really cheap. You can buy it at any pharmacy. I want to say we use it all the time on almost anything, even if it's okay to have the microphone. Usually we go with this because it just stays inside. You don't have to worry about it, and it doesn't snaggle or anything. So that's pretty good. Put this down here. So right now we're going to use gaff taping. We're going to tape it to the outside of the shirt of our actors.
Yeah, we have a PA. It's important to always have as many PAs as possible. Getting us moleskin right now. So we'll actually make it look nice before we go to shoot it, but just for now, so we can keep rolling. Are you excited to be microphoned? She's never been mic'd before. First time, and it's live on YouTube. It's pretty exciting. Is it which one? That is, you've never been mic'd, or there's nothing? Well, she's an actress, so I believed her when she said she'd never been mic'd before. But obviously, the acting skill made me believe her when, in fact, she's been mic'd before.
That's right. We get mic'd, we just don't know how to do it ourselves.
Right.
That's where you guys come in.
Well, that's you know, everybody's got their job in life. What's going on? I do that. Actually, people watching online probably always wonder who I'm waving to. There's nobody back there. I just do it like no matter. So it makes it feel like there's people. There's nobody here really. It's like I'm literally in my basement right now. Well, not really my basement. The whole thing's fake. That would be actually coming live from my basement. We'll do that over the summer. We should do one outside, like a barbecue style one. Would you guys come if we did a barbecue? Oh yeah, we'll do a barbecue. I live upstate though, so you got to get on the train and go see me. Oh yeah, sure, barbecue. Why wouldn't you? Kosher barbecue. So you're invited. There you go. They must have kosher barbecue up there because I'm right near Muncie. There's a lot of kosher stuff up there. Yes, Arri will bring the candy. That's their sponsorship. All right, so we're doing that. What else is happening here?
So let's see. Let's check on the light.
Yeah, probably just shove that in the pic. Okay, so they're going to get mic'd up, and one thing that's going to happen here, while these guys are kind of prepping things, because we're playing it over the loudspeaker so you guys can hear, they're going to have to kind of turn the mics on and off, right? So we're just leaving this one up all the time, so we don't get an echo. We're going to have them rehearse, like with you guys able to hear it, but when we actually go to shoot the thing, we're going to have to kill their mics. So there'll be this like kind of weird delay, and that really just has to do with the fact that we're live streaming and we have an audience and stuff. You wouldn't have to do that. You'd leave all your mics up all the time. But if we do that, you won't hear them if we only go into the camera, or we won't have audio, which would be kind of a bummer. The actors usually like to have audio when they do dialogues. Not always, but usually. Okay. I've actually never seen Mad Men. Do you guys watch Mad Men? It's not on anymore, right? It's over? It's still going? No. Oh, it's over, yeah. So I've never seen it. I've heard it's good. So this is going to be a new scene for me. You look like a madman. A little bit, yeah? You get that. I know they like drink whiskey and say inappropriate stuff to women. Not you, but on the show. That's basically the show, right? Well, it was appropriate probably in the time. It was probably still inappropriate, yeah. Right, yeah. Nobody said anything. Exactly. So I've not seen it. Lots of suits though. Little Madison Avenue advertising type stuff. Spider-Man, I don't really know. Questions so far about what's going on here? Like in life in general, or about this particular scene? No? Yes. Oh, I am so concerned about shadows. You asked if I was concerned about shadows. I am always concerned about shadows. It is the one thing that I'm concerned about always. Because shadows add depth, right? Shadows are what's going to create your scene. They're as important as the lights that are on the subject. But what I think you're actually talking about is the shadows that are on the wall. Well, we actually have lights that are lighting the set so that people on YouTube don't just see a black screen. We're going to turn those off as we get more of the stuff set up, and I don't think those shadows will be there. If we do a noir scene later, we'll throw some shadows, though. That's always fun. Did you do a noir scene for the second one?
The what?
Noir?
No.
No noir scenes. So no shadows this time? Yes.
You're shutting their mics off when you actually are done rehearsing? Or you're gonna
No, what we're going to do is we're using their mics that are plugged into on them. The lavs are going into the camera directly, I believe. I wasn't here when they set up, or being recorded in the audio in the camera directly. Okay, so the mic here, that's the boom mic, is going to be for you guys to hear, so you can at least hear what's going on. When we go to record, we're going to turn off the speakers, and I guess effectively that mic, because it doesn't seem any sense to have it on. The reason for that is they have an echo, you know. It's like if you're like on like Google Hangouts talking to somebody, and they're using the microphone in their computer to do that, and it's like the echo, and yeah, it's like hey, put headphones on. Yeah, that's sort of same thing. We're gonna kill the speakers. Yeah. Yeah. I blame the online audience. And then I tell the online people, well, actually, I'm saying it all at once, so I can't really tell them separately. Scratch that. You're all at fault. There's also like this like, for some reason, an Ethernet cable here. It's been here for like 3 years. And I have no idea why. Does people even use Ethernet anymore? Is that a thing that people use?
I use it sometimes.
Oh, you use it? Yeah. Oh, hardcore. When was the last time you plugged your computer into Ethernet?
My computer's plugged into.
It is. So, okay, currently you're doing it.
Currently.
All right. I'm asking the wrong people. You're wireless, I can tell. You look wireless with the star shirt. Yes, I knew it.
Big files. If you have big files, you can't go live.
Oh, yeah, big files. I see what you're saying. That makes sense. Where are we at? There was no Ethernet back in the Mad Men days. No.
Definitely not.
They used teletype. Fax machines, maybe? No, maybe not. Yeah, fax machines.
Beepers? I don't know.
No, they didn't have beepers. They must have had fax machines. When was the fax machine invented? You don't know? Oh, man. See, I thought you knew that kind of stuff. Somebody online will have to check for us.
I guess it'd be like 70.
You're saying 74. I think it's older than that because I want to feel like it was a military thing. They would like fax like their lunch menus or whatever to the soldiers.
Alrighty. So we had to move the set a little bit forward.
Don't tell me.
So we had to move the set a little bit forward in order to avoid the flare of the light and try to make the light a little bit more natural. Yeah, try to lower. So we're going to lower the camera a little bit. Courtney, can I have you a little bit further front? Right here. So this is going to be our quote-unquote wide, or as wide as we can get, given our really small space. Just to, I guess it's more of a two-shot, just to kind of like establish the space a little bit, the relationship between both the actors, where our lamp and our office would be, before we jump into singles of each one. Camera settings? Yeah. We haven't played too much with the settings as well, but what do we got so far?
All right. Yeah, so we're shooting ProRes 422 in 4K in the camera. We're set to 3200 white balance, mostly because our fill, if we use it, is going to be 3200, and this light over here is actually 2800, which is right around what this lamp is. This is probably more like 27, but you know, we'll play with it a little bit. And then, as far as aperture goes and everything, or exposure settings, we're at 180-degree shutter, 24 frames per second, and we are currently at, I believe, 2.8 with a two-stop ND filter on. Sure. So the question is, you know, I guess explaining the 180-degree shutter, and it kind of goes back to film cameras and cinema cameras that essentially they had a continuously rolling shutter system, and basically you would block up 180 degrees of it in order to in some way to kind of like end the frame, the exposure, you know. And so kind of, I guess the real reason now as to why you would use 180 degrees is I mean, technically, yeah, you get better motion with 180 degrees than if you go a faster or slower shutter, right? It's just it's a more naturalistic, feel to it. If you crank your shutter, right, like the 180 degree, by the way, it's essentially your double whatever your frame rate is, your shutter speed is double that. So if you're 24 frames per second, then you're a 48th of a second shutter speed. That would be 180 degrees. If you crank your shutter to be, 500 or like a 500th of a second or something like, really, really high, you're stopping kind of or similar to, you're stopping the action more. So every movement there will be less motion blur to it, essentially. And the problem with that is that you'll get this kind of staccato effect where it looks like there's a strobe light hitting everything. It can be very useful in some action scenes, like you saw it in like Saving Private Ryan, where they use high shutter speeds in order to get this kind of gross and gritty look. But most of the time, 180 degrees is where you want to be. That will give you a more naturalistic kind of motion blur. Like in life, if you move your hand in front of your face, there is some blur there. It's just kind of your mind puts together all the pieces. Yeah, and then as far as using shutter angle instead of shutter speed in cinema cameras, one big reason to do that, besides familiarity for people who've been shooting on film for so long, is actually that if you're shooting 24 frames per second, and then you want to go to like high speed, you want to shoot 240 frames per second, or that's kind of a little bit bad example because it's an easy calculation, but essentially you just change the frame rate in the camera, and you're still at 180 degrees, so you know that your shutter speed is going to be double your frame rate. So as you're changing your frames per second, your shutter is changing automatically, which just speeds up the process. You don't have to think about it so much. Just a quick check. Oh, I'm still at 180 and I'm good. Yeah. Huh?
That should answer that.
So we've got a little bit of a flare here or something, right? That looks like flare to me.
Yeah. I'm trying to eliminate it. We might have to.
Yeah. So
Are we able to move the camera a little bit this way?
yeah, we're probably gonna have to turn the camera a tiny bit. I don't want to do it too much, but this is probably pretty good. And then what we're gonna have to do is obviously compose the camera better.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the setup here on the tripod. There's a few things to take in consideration when you're setting up a shot with the camera. Oh, there's a lot, but let's assume that you have your position already, right? You're like, all right, this is going to be the spot where we're going to take the shot. You'll want to set up the tripod kind of beforehand and then before every shot. You're going to want to make sure that your camera is balanced and that you're kind of at you're set to a good amount of friction or counterbalance. So when you release the camera, the tilt lock on the tripod, now you see, like, I haven't balanced this yet, so you'll see that the camera, if I let go, it starts tilting back. So you want to kind of set the camera up on the tripod that when you let go of it, it's not going to move. At least, if you're already flat and level. So there's a few things that you have to do. One is to make sure that the ball head or half ball of the tripod is level. And we are already. So the next step would be this here. There's one thing that we can do. We've got these markings on the side of our tripod, which I don't know if anybody's gonna be able to see that. Probably not. And there's basically kind of a scale to let us know, where it's going to be. So if I move this forward, because I'm seeing that the camera is tilting back, right? It's tilting up. That means that it's back heavy. So if I slide this forward a bit, let's say 1 notch. I need like 2. Okay. I'm kind of at the edge of this scale, but it's working. So let's go ahead and lock that up. And that's basically it. Now if I release this, right, we're pretty loose. If I loosen this up even more. Okay, so now this is like super loose. Things are flopping around. We're still a little bit back heavy. And I'm at the end of this. So what I have to do is move the camera forward on its plate. Just a little bit here. Okay. There we go. Okay. And I'll go ahead and frame up a shot, and you'll go over the lighting that we set up. Although we still have to adjust our settings on that, but yeah.
So basically, like we said, we're trying to have this sky panel be close to recreating this light as our source after we do the quote-unquote wide for the establishing. But then we have the sky panels on the other sky panel on the other side filling in. I believe we have this one at 50% and similar Kelvin, and then that one is 25%. It's not exactly, given the distance, it's not exactly a 1-to-2 ratio, but it's close enough. And like at this point, we're kind of eyeballing it, what looks good. Thankfully, we're working with an Arri Alexa Mini, which has a really nice dynamic range, so we can play around with that. They don't have to be as similar or as close, and we can extend that nice dynamic range of the camera and still play with that with no issue. Dave is leveling the camera. This is important.
Okay, and then if we
Any questions so far? There.
Is there a standard aspect ratio that you recommend?
There's no
3:5 or what's the most common?
for cinema 235 would be pretty standard.
as far as
There's
capture,
yeah.
a lot of times you'll output in like 16:9 for TV and stuff like that, and web, but it's kind of a more personal taste on that sense. I like to go wider, so 235 or 239 or 240, whatever you want to label. Essentially, that range is kind of my favorite aspect ratio, but we tend to shoot a lot of 16:9 as well. Depends on how quick the turnaround is too. If it's for TV or if it's for web, then you just shoot 16:9 and kind of be done with it. You don't like fuss around too much with it. But
If you have a quick turnaround where you're not going to be able to, because again, the majority of the time you are either adapting to whatever sensor you already have in your camera and what it's giving you. So if let's say something like the Alexa will give you the aspect ratio in camera, no issue, or at least the guidelines. Maybe your camera doesn't have that. So but it's a look that you want to achieve. So you would need to pre-mark everything you would want to keep that aspect ratio beforehand. So again, it really depends on what's the sensor size, what the camera can give you, how it looks given each ratio, and what you like from it. Again, given on different cameras, and every camera's going to be different, it will give you what do you call it? Like either a mark of where it would fall for you to put it in post, or some will shoot to that in camera. I know like probably not a lot of DSLRs would have it, more on the cinema side would have it. But then you'll find something like the, I believe the A7S has the guide marks. It will not cut your frame. It won't come out of the camera like that, but will give you the guide in camera to try to achieve it. That was a good question. Anybody else so far? You with the glasses? No? Okay. Online, anybody? Okay. A certain Salvatore Dali.
So normally, I tend to. I'm trying to think of a way to say this, I guess, but like when we're lighting a scene or we're planning the lighting of the scene, I tend to kind of plan like, okay, this is probably going to look good at 2.8 or f4 or f8 or whatever, you know. So we try to find the exposure that we want the camera to be at, kind of beforehand, and then we're lighting to that exposure. So in this case, I usually kind of what that helps to is like we'll get the camera set up and then okay, it's somewhat framed up or whatever, and you know that the exposure is going to be good. In this particular case, we didn't choose a specific exposure, a camera exposure for this scene, partly because, you know, we just don't know, and we, you know, couldn't pre-light, and you know, we have a general idea of how, like, we want it to be a little bit shallow on the depth of field, but we want to be able to see both of our actors kind of in focus. 2.8 is probably a bit too open for that, and I would probably do a f4 for them being kind of on the axis that they are from each other. Especially with the lens that we're using a 35 millimeter.
We probably could pump up the lights. We're 50%
Yeah.
over there.
Huh? Yeah, for this, I'm probably not going to rec focus at all. Just for simplicity's sake, you know, this is kind of more of a demonstration of lighting it and everything. So we're kind of going simple on that, but also we've got this kind of plain background. I mean, it does have some wrinkles to it, but for the most part, I'm not too worried. I'm okay with it being a little off looking, and you know, if you've got a plain background, then the difference between, you know, super shallow and you know, a deep depth of field is really just, are you getting what you need in focus, you know? Because you're not necessarily trying to throw the background out of focus. So at that point, yeah, you can stop down the lens, and you don't have to be like, oh, well, the background is busy, you know? Yeah, so we're going to kind of play around with the exposure settings. Somebody did ask, you had said somebody asked about the sensitivity on the camera, because I didn't actually mention that. Kind of the native ISO of the Alexa Mini and most cinema cameras is around 800. So I tend to keep it at that. I just kind of pretend that there's film in there at 800 ASA, and I can't touch that. Yeah, if it's, you know, an outdoor night shot and we're running gun and we can't light it or whatever, okay, yeah, I'll maybe, you know, adjust my ISO. But for most cases, I tend to leave it, you know, at whatever we're rating it at. Okay.
Some people are afraid of being too dark in a dark scene. I mean, obviously, you got to know your camera. You got to know what it's capable of, how much you can push, pull, etc. But sometimes I mean, a dark scene has to be dark, and that's fine. You can't try to get quote unquote proper exposure as your camera is indicating, and then lose the effect of being in a dark scene because of that. Sometimes you got to judge for yourself and not depend on the camera for what it considers to be proper exposure. At the end of the day, it's just a tool. How are we doing on that? Question? You're asking how changing the angle of the camera changes the lighting. Well, so far, yes. So we're going to start with the wide, which is what we're getting, what you already saw, or what you're seeing actually in camera right now. And then we're going to jump to singles. We did obviously, again, like Dave said, we didn't have a chance to pre-light to run over exactly what all our settings were going to be beforehand, because whenever you can do that. Make sure that everything you can go over, you can try to go for it. But we did know basics of where our lights would be and where we would place the camera for that. So right now we're like I said, we're in our wide covering or two shot covering both of them right now, and we knew that they were going to be backlit, which is why we planned for the fill and make sure that the, in this case, ambience of the room would fill them up. Once we switch to their singles, again, our light source in this world is based on this lamp. So as long as we keep that in mind and we mold the light around that, we should be fine. And we're going to get a single of Justin, probably straightforward, and we're going to get a single of Courtney, probably cheating a little bit more towards the wall and maybe, again, in this universe, because you always have to think like that. Whatever you can get away with to make the shot look better and believable, that's what you would do. I know on another on-set dialogue that we did, we framed it against these open windows with light coming out of them. So we were trying to frame it up, and you could clearly see the wall, and you can see the tubes behind it. So what we did was move from one window to the other and make it look or feel like if the windows extended longer than what they actually were, which is what we call cheating it. We're probably going to have to do the same with Courtney, because if we're trying to get a single of her, and you'll see it when we get there, we're going to get part of the TVs on the back or whatever, so we might have to move the light, move all of the set a little bit closer to the wall or not so parallel with the wall to make it to seem if the wall was longer. We might have to do that once we get there. But yes, no, I mean, it would really depend. As long as you know where the light is coming from in this world, you need to just slowly adapt to that. Does that answer the question? I don't even know if that answered the question. How's it going?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that we're probably pretty good. What do you think?
I think we're good. Are you liking where we're going?
No. So she's gonna walk in.
Yeah.
And then that's gonna be our mark.
Yes. I'll mark it right now.
Okay.
What was I going to say? You already checked mine, right? They should be on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So right now, Fernando's going to mark her spot. Yeah. Push back that way a bit. There we go. Yep. She's going to walk into the frame, so she'll basically be landing on this mark. I know.
Usually just simple T where the feet would land. Oh, sorry, yes. Build a simple T, gaff tape, or whatever type of, usually, if you can, color tape. That way you keep a color for different actors, especially if the blocking is complicated and you want them to move from A to B to C to D. You keep a color for each actor. And then having go through the motions and so they can know where to land. In your case, it's right here. So you're gonna enter through
Also, if you're on a surface that is not a hard, flat surface like this floor, like let's say you're outside and you're in sand or grass and you can't necessarily put tape down on it, you can get little T brackets from like Home Depot and then put different colored tape over it, and that will be useful for outdoors where you can just throw it down. It's got the shape. It's gonna hold relatively in place. Kind of extra little thing. So we're gonna run through, kind of do a quick rehearsal, and we'll see. I think I'm not even gonna touch the camera at all for this because well, not for the rehearsal. So, so let's give it a try.
All right. Run a quick rehearsal.
I'll just monitor.
Yeah.
I'll watch
All
it.
right. And we're up on rehearsal. Whenever you're ready.
What's wrong? Elevator out?
It just broke up with Mark.
Really?
Think so.
So, go home.
No. I'm ready to work. You win again.
You know, you could have just told me it was your birthday.
Right, with no repercussions.
So now this is my fault.
Well, it's not my fault. You don't have any friends or family or anywhere else to go.
Don't get personal because you didn't do your work. And by the way, I know this kills you, but guess what? There is no Danny's idea. Everything that comes in here belongs to the agency.
You mean you?
Well, as long as you still work here.
Is that a threat? Because I've already taken up somebody on one of those tonight.
Okay. Relax.
You know what? Here's a blank piece of paper. Why don't you create the G code? The glow code. G code.
Are you out of your mind?
Yes. No.
Are you out of your mind? You gave me 20 ideas. I picked one of them that was a kernel and it became that commercial.
So you remember?
I do. It was something about a cowboy. Congratulations.
No. It was something about a kid locked in a closet, waiting for the floor to dry.
It was a kernel.
Which you changed just enough just to make it yours.
I changed it into a commercial. That's what are we gonna do? Film the kid in the dark? That's how it works. There's no credits on commercials.
But you got the Clio.
It's your job. I give you money, you give me ideas.
And you never say thank you.
That's what the money's for. You're young. You'll get your recognition. And honestly, it is absolutely ridiculous to be 2 years into your career and be counting all your ideas. Everything to you is an opportunity. You should be thanking me every morning you wake up, as well as with Jesus, for giving you another day. Oh, come on. Sorry about your boyfriend, okay?
All right. That's cut on rehearsal.
G-Unit.
G-code? What'd you say?
G-Code G-Unit.
So we had a little bit.
Whatever, you went out of your mind, it still went into
I was like, yeah, I am. That's alright.
There we go.
You guys to get way more pissed off.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want us to... I didn't know for Mike, do you want us to actually...
No, go for it.
Yeah, okay.
Go
You want
for
us to go for it?
Yeah.
No problem.
If we pull you back, we'll pull you back.
Alright.
Yeah.
We need paper. We need to be looking at something.
Yeah, I can do that.
She distracts you.
He's going to be looking at the script
Yes. I can pretend.
Yeah.
like it's a newspaper.
Let's take it from the top one more time.
They get a thing of scotch?
Right? No, not here.
Not yet.
There's a potentially a mug, but you won't want to put your lips to it.
Yeah, no. All right, let's go for another rehearsal. Again, way more angry.
Sure, no problem.
On both sides. You
Yeah,
need to be
of course.
pissed as well.
Yeah.
Okay?
You got it.
All right.
Here we go.
Whenever you're ready.
What's wrong? Is the elevator out?
I think I just broke up with Mark.
Really?
I think so.
So go home.
No, I'm ready to work. You win, again.
You know, you could have just told me it was your birthday.
Right, with no repercussions.
Oh, so now this is my fault.
Well, it's not my fault that you don't have any family or friends or anywhere else you can be.
You know, don't get personal with me because you didn't do your work. And by the way, I know this kills you, but guess what? There is no Danny's idea. Everything that comes in here belongs to the agency.
You mean you?
As long as you still work here.
Is that a threat? Because I've already taken somebody up on one of those tonight.
Oh, relax.
Why? You know what? There's a blank piece of paper. Why don't you create the glow coat?
Are you out of your mind? You gave me 20 ideas. I picked one of them and it became a kernel that was that commercial.
So you remember?
I do. It was something about a cowboy. Congratulations.
No, it was something about a kid locked in a closet waiting for the floor to dry because the mother wouldn't let him out. Which was basically the whole commercial.
It's a kernel.
And you changed it just enough to make it your own.
I made it into a commercial. What are we going to do? Film the kid in the dark in the closet? That's the way it works. There's no credits on a commercial.
But you got the Clio.
That's your job. I pay you. You give me ideas.
And you never say thank you.
That's what the money's for. You know what? You're young. You'll get your recognition. And honestly, it is absolutely ridiculous to be 2 years into your career and counting all your damn ideas. Everything to you is an opportunity. You should be waking up every morning and thanking me as well as with Jesus for giving you another day. Oh, come on. I'm sorry about your boyfriend, okay?
If you learn anything I'm directing, just say louder and faster. Always works. Yes, way better. Cool. We'll keep it like that. We'll.
Okay.
You guys skipped a couple of lines. We'll try to make sure we get them as we jump on the close-ups and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, the intro's fine, which is what we're going to be concentrating on this one.
So, I don't know. Okay, so basically, we are going to shoot this angle kind of the whole way through, and then once we're done with that, we're going to get our singles. We've kind of already said that we're going to get the singles. It'll be a little quicker once we get this shot done, and we'll knock it out.
If in between any cuts or any movement, have any questions, ask. Raise your hand. That's what we're here for.
But by the way, we're a little. I guess we're kind of going to be shooting the whole scene from each angle, and that's not always the case. In fact, most of the time you'll shoot the whole scene from your wide or whatever, and then maybe you'll do just different portions of it. This is a little bit smaller of a scene, so it's kind of easier for us to do the whole thing over and over again. But if it was because we're also using one camera, if it was a very complex scene that took a long time to reset, right? Like you've got pyrotechnics or something, you've got a car chase or something that involves, a period of time between takes, right? Then using multiple cameras is going to help you with that. So on some level, rather than using one camera, you do limit yourself as far as your lighting goes, though, when you use multiple cameras, because the lights might be in the shot. So it's something to kind of keep in mind in your decision making on that. But generally, I try to keep it as simple as possible. Go with one camera, one setup at a time. Start with the wide and then work our way closer and closer. And I usually start with the wides and work in because, for multiple reasons. One, many times the first few takes, sometimes it's not all there. It's not fully developed or the right emotion, just quite what you want, and you want that to be as perfect as possible when you get in on those close-ups. That's when the subtleties of your actors' expressions and things like that and how they're saying things is going to matter more. So that's one reason why we kind of start with this. It's just, it also helps people warm up, you know, and kind of move into it. And then they've done it enough times by the time we get into their close-up or whatever that they've got it. You know, there's a rhythm to it. You don't want to take too long with the wides because then they might get burnt out on those close-ups. So it's kind of a back and forward on that. But
every actor is different. You'll have actors that will knock it out in 3 to 4. Some actors need way more than that, and you need to find a little nugget in between the first takes and the longer takes. Like eventually, once you start hitting like your 10 or over, sometimes depending on the scene, where both your actors are firing on all cylinders, because it really depends on the actor. And obviously the more you work with people, the more you start learning how they work, what triggers them, you know, what gets them motivated to do something, or if they just simply need more takes than the other. We don't have the luxury of a lot of time right now, but it's something that, you know, whenever you can give your actor that, it's really good for them. It gives them a safe space that they don't have to perform on that 1 or that 2. You know, if they have, you know, a great number of takes and you've talked to them about that, it's like, you know what, don't worry, we have an hour to shoot this like small, quick conversation or whatever, however long it works well. But you already determined, like, you have the space. Don't worry. Like, knock it out, feel comfortable, and let them get into that headspace. That's really important. But, like always, conversation with them.
So, now that we have like a half hour basically to do 3 different camera angles, let's go ahead and go for a take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said don't worry about the mic. I won't blow it out.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
You're okay. I've been monitoring it.
All right.
It seems like it's good. Do you need headphones?
That's my newspaper.
You come over?
No.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
alrighty. We're gonna go for a take. Roll camera.
Camera speed.
I don't even know what he's going to. And action.
What's wrong? Elevator out?
I think I just broke up with Mark.
Really?
I think so.
So, go home.
No, I'm ready to work. You win again.
You could have told me it was your birthday.
Right, with no repercussions.
Oh, so now this is my fault.
It's not my fault. You don't have a family or friends or anywhere else to go.
Go. Go run to him like in the movies. You don't have to be here.
I do have to be.
I do have to be here because you stole, because of some stupid idea of Danny's that you stole, and so now we're here. Yeah, I do have to be here because of some stupid idea that you stole from Danny, that you had to, who you had to hire, because.
You know, don't get personal because you didn't do your work.
Let's pick it up again from I do have to be here because of some stupid idea
Yeah.
from Danny, who you had to hire because you stole his idea because you were drunk.
Because you were right. Okay. Okay. I know. We weren't there
We're
first.
still
Okay.
rolling, keep a beat,
Go.
and then start again from that line.
Okay. I do have to be here because of a stupid idea from Danny that you had to hire because you were drunk.
Don't get personal because you didn't do your work. And by the way, and I know this kills you, but guess what? There is no Danny's idea. Everything that comes in here belongs to the agency.
You mean you?
As long as you still work here.
Is that a threat? Because I've already taken somebody up on one of those tonight.
Oh, relax.
You know what? Here's a blank piece of paper. Why don't you draw the glow cup?
Are you out of your mind? You gave me 20 ideas. I picked one of them that was a kernel, and that became that commercial.
So you remember?
I do. It was something about a cowboy. Congratulations.
No. It was something about a kid locked in a closet. Because his mother wouldn't let him out because the floor was drying. Which was basically the whole commercial.
It's a kernel.
Which you managed to change just a little bit to make it yours.
I changed it into a commercial. What are we gonna do? Film the kid in the dark in the closet? That's the way it works. There's no credits on a commercial.
But you got the Clio.
This is your job. I pay you, you give me ideas.
And you never say thank you.
That's what the money's for. You know, you're young. You'll get your recognition. And honestly, it is ridiculous to be 2 years into your career and be counting your ideas. I mean, everything to you is an opportunity. You should be thanking me every morning you wake up, as well as with Jesus for giving you another day. Come on. I'm sorry about the boyfriend, okay?
That's cut. You're good with that?
We'll need to do another take.
I'm sorry.
What?
I threw that line at you.
You're asking if you recorded any practice takes just in case.
No.
Sometimes, but oh yeah. We're gonna do that one again. There was a little audio issues, I think, and I think I want to get a little cleaner take. There was a question online about recording the rehearsals.
Some of them are like sarcastic.
Yeah.
Asshole, but
Sometimes yes, right? Many times when you're strapped for time, you know, the director or the producer will say, you know, or if that's what your role is, you may need to, you know, shoot the rehearsal. A lot of the times, it's tricky because people sometimes, you know, with the rehearsal, that's like where you're finding out where everybody's going to be and at what time, and like your assistant camera, if you're using one, right, to get focus on your subjects, and so they'll be getting their marks. Shooting the rehearsal can be tricky. Usually it's not going to be a good take, but it can sometimes have something in there that is usable, you know, in the edit, and especially if you're doing several different camera angles, then that's, you know, you're really only looking for those little moments where you will cut away to, you know, take 2 or whatever from the camera, or you'll cut to, you know, take 1, and you're mixing and matching your takes a lot of the time to get the end result that you want. So, yeah, sometimes, yeah, you do.
should be.
What? Yeah, it's the shade. The camera is level, yeah. It is the lamp, yeah. It's interesting. Well, I think part of that too is because it's such a plain background that it looks a little disleveled when you have one object that's supposed to be a steady thing. This, by the way, is the camera box. So it's on a handle, which is tilting it. I think, well, actually we need to probably, yeah, there's no way to fix that. Anywho,
We gotta go.
second take.
You just want to get more pissed?
Yeah. I keep it level to a certain point
Yeah.
until she triggers you, and then bring it up.
Okay.
All right. Go for a take. Roll camera.
Camera speed.
And whenever you're ready for it.
I think I just broke up with Mark.
Really?
I think so.
So go home.
No, I'm here. I'm ready to work. You win again.
You could have told me it was your birthday.
Right, with no repercussions.
So now this is my fault.
Well, it's not my fault you don't have a family or friends or anywhere else to be.
Go run to him like in the movies. You don't need to be here.
I do need to be here because of some stupid idea of Danny's, who you had to hire because you stole one of his ideas when he was drunk.
You know what? Don't get personal on me because you didn't do your work. I mean, line.
And by the way,
Don't get personal on me because you didn't do your work. And by the way, I know this kills you, but guess what? There is no Danny's idea. Everything that comes in here belongs to the agency.
You mean you?
As long as you still work here.
Is that a threat? Because I've already taken somebody up on one of those tonight.
Relax.
You know what? Here's a blank piece of paper. Why don't you draw the glow coat?
Are you out of your mind? You gave me 20 ideas. I picked one of them that was a kernel, and that became that commercial.
So you remember?
I do. It was something about a cowboy. Congratulations.
No. It was about a kid locked in a closet because his mother wouldn't let him out until the floor was dry. Which was basically the whole commercial.
It was a kernel.
That you managed to change just a little bit to make it yours.
I changed it into a commercial. What are we gonna do? Film the kid in the dark in the closet? That's the way it works. There's no credits on a commercial.
But you got the Clio.
This is your job. I pay you. You give me ideas.
And you never say thank you.
That's what the money's for. You're young. You will get your recognition. And honestly, it is absolutely ridiculous to be 2 years into your career and be counting all your ideas. You know, everything to you is an opportunity. You should be thanking me every morning when you wake up, as long as with Jesus or something like that, just for giving you another day. Oh, come on. I'm sorry about the boyfriend, okay?
it's a cut.
Camera goes. Yeah, we got it.
We're moving. Let's get this first.
Okay, so we're gonna push back to the other spot.
Yeah. So we're gonna move the set back.
Okay, so there was a little bit of audio issue I think on that one too, but there are different spots. Regardless, we do have to move. So we're gonna set up for the next shot. We're getting his shot, Don's shot on this. So we're moving the set back because we're getting closer to what the set would normally look. We started with a cheated position where him and the table were cheated forward. And this time we're putting them back to roughly where they're supposed to be. And then we're going to move the camera in more frontal, so this is our background instead of this wall. Yeah.
Any questions? Question.
Camera set at 2.8.
The camera set at 2.8, Dave?
No, it is set at 5.6.
5.6.
Okay, so my question is,
No, Dave. You put it at 5.6 in order to, widen that range, Phil. Yes.
it's probably more for Justin. When he says the birthday line, what exactly does that mean?
The birthday?
Yeah.
Well, I'm as an actor, I know of Mad Men. I've seen it. I don't know all. I haven't watched it. So I made a choice personally as an actor that she lied to me about going somewhere, and it was really her birthday. So that's for context of the scene.
Exactly.
This is all I'm given. So all I can simply do is make a story if I don't know. And I didn't watch the scene because I didn't want to copycat the actors that did it.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I also gave him the option. I gave him the scenes like here if you need the help, but I usually just give the. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. Thank you. I forget. I'm not used to the mic. Oh, thank you, Erwin. Yes. So basically, like you said, I mean, obviously we picked the scene. We don't have. We're not shooting a 30-minute, 45-minute actually to show the whole story, how everything came to be, and that is one of the things that.
So they didn't get the entire episode
What do you mean?
They didn't get the entire episode.
No. Just for the purposes of the tutorial, we just make sure we gave him like the scene edited the way we wanted to, and that is that along with stealing the Danny idea is the other thing that she references that obviously we don't see. So given those suspensions of disbelief, we gotta kind of just run with that. But that's exactly the way he's working with it is actually good because like he said, like this is what I have, so I have to make it work. I have to create unless I'm indicated otherwise. Like I have to run with what I have. Question?
From an editing perspective,
Uh-huh.
you plan on staying, this is your master shot, and you're planning on staying on that past the middle point where there was some line flubs.
Mm-hmm.
You would want to reshoot until you got it
Yes.
in its entirety.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, in my head, we're most likely going to start first line, just have her entering a couple of lines, whatever feels good once you're in the editing, and then we're going to jump to the singles. That's why, and you noticed that I didn't have a problem with them flubbing certain lines, besides the fact that if, not only am I going to try to get him and push him to get it in their singles, because I know that's what I want. If I wasn't sure, and I had the time, let's do it again. Let's make sure we get it every single time whenever we can. Yes.
Now, the goal now in camera kind of stays close to the settings before when you're moving your lighting around. Are you measuring your light, like, because you know low enough now that you're just, I need 7 feet, 8 feet from the
Yeah, somewhat. I mean,
These are dimmable lights.
the good thing is that they're dimmable, given with their subject. But you could try to stay in the same world unless you really are looking for something extreme. You want to keep it as close as possible to what you have. That's why we are matching every light. That's why we're trying to keep it as close to what it is as possible. Like I said, I mean, we're cheating the distance between his background, which we didn't see before, to where he is right now, and how that is being lit, which wasn't before, but now it is because it is for the universe. Anybody else?
What do you think? What are you thinking for this?
Courtney, can I have you for Eyeline?
Yes.
I just kind of set up for basic. Very basic, very straight on.
I like that.
I'm gonna make notes.
Picture better.
And we'll
The
have
only
I'll
thing-
adjust those
Yeah,
exposure.
it's just
So awkward.
I know, it's really distracting.
It's just the shadow.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to maneuver it for sure.
Yeah, just a little bit closer to us,
Well,
just to avoid that shadow if possible.
yeah.
Get the light around it. There we go.
We do this. Oh. Yeah.
See, this going back to the question I believe from you I had earlier when you were saying that like if we would move the light. Right now, the way the light was hitting him on his face was fine, but the actual lamp was causing a shadow. So we're gonna have to maneuver the light around so it looks like he is being lit as close as possible. I mean, you never get it right as long as even like we noticed on the next scene that we're doing, I believe at 3 p.m., which is a scene from Barton Fink. On certain angles, there's like unnatural light. It's like there's no way, especially if you watch the whole scene and you see where there's like no way that a light could have been there. But it looked better. It helped the scene better, and that's the importance on. So you won't always be able to make it perfect and as polished as you would want, even at the professional level. But that's the goal, to try to achieve that. There you go.
I'm not hating it.
No, that's good.
It looks.
Someone's asking about intensity, like matching intensity when you move lights and you move camera. I guess like exposure, is what they mean.
Mhm.
How do you keep exposure the same when you're moving?
When you're moving lights.
And I guess how it looks.
There's a few things you can do. If you don't have dimmable lights, then you try to keep them the same distance from your subject. That's one quick thing. If you're working with like Fresnels, then you can usually use scrims, which will lower your intensity of the light and not change its direction or quality or anything. And then if you're working with other lights that maybe you can't dim and you can't put scrims in, sometimes you can use an ND filter as long as it's not going to melt. And by ND filter, I mean like a gel ND that you'll put over the light. In this particular case, we kept the light roughly the same distance, which is why I didn't have to change the exposure on it very much at all. But the lights themselves are dimmable. So that's, if we move it back and raise the power, what the real difference is going to be, because we'll have pretty much the same exposure, the real difference that's going to happen is that the light's going to become harder, right? Because the closer you can get your light to your subject, or the larger you can make your light, then the softer it's going to be. And we're kind of working, these are roughly 1 foot square lights. So they have a little bit of softness. It's probably actually a little bit, tiny bit larger than the lampshade here. So I think it's appropriate, even at this distance, on him anyway. Yeah.
And this is one of the other things that people always ask, like, well, what's the difference between a $50 light or $100 light versus something higher? And it's usually that, not only like the color quality, which is pretty important, specifically on what you're doing, but you can dim this guy with having no like white balance shift, with like no issues. You can actually, this specifically one, you can pick any color in the rainbow and it'll give it to you. But that's what professional tools do. You can have the consistency that that if you use it a certain way or at a certain distance or a certain, if you dim it or whatever, it is going to give you what you expect, what you know. That is important. Knowing what a tool can do, what a screwdriver can do whenever you're going to use it. You want like similar to that with your tools, lighting tools, where you're going to be like, I know what this light is going to give me in this situation, or at least close to that, so you can work with it.
Okay. So
read your lens, that way you can get it closer
Yep.
to when we go for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
because we shooted him back, we probably need to shoot her forward a tiny bit too.
Yeah, well,
Not that it
yeah.
matters too much,
Yeah.
but eyeline will be a little different.
Let's get over to
Also, you happy with this, right? Like we're
I'm fine with singles. I don't think we need to dirty them.
okay.
We
I
can
mean, we're
dirty
still
the-
at
we can dirty
35,
the
so
Yeah.
I think
No, that's perfect. I'm fine with that.
okay.
Looks like he's been lit by the line.
So the second section will be.
Yeah, we'll dirty the second section.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Go. Okay. So we decided to just keep it clean. Usually you make the choice if to quote unquote dirty the shot up, which is usually a term where you start putting the actor in frame and have like that dynamic. Right now we like it how it looks clean. We don't see the necessity for it. It really depends on what the interaction is. This would also give us liberty in the editing room. I mean, it's a choice we got to make, and that's what we're going for. And that way he can be a little bit more bombastic. He can be a little bit more open or aggressive. He wants to like yell more without having to be that restrictive. So that's the choice. And right now Dave is fixing his eyeline
To a little bit better match the first shot.
to try to match it. Yeah, to try to match the first shot a little bit better.
If he looks too much this way,
Mhm.
then we get too much light on the left side of his face.
Okay, yes. If he looks too much to his side, we get too much light on his face, and this one, this way, it works better for us. You have a question? There's a tissue on the frame. Oh, it's the paper that he is using and then sets down. Yeah.
Right. Oh, also keep an eye out on film sets for. Keep an eye out on a film set for water bottles, especially. They're everywhere, and they will ruin shots.
But yes, continuity. We good to go?
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right. We're gonna go for a take. We're gonna go for a take, guys.
Yeah, I have the moment I set it down for
You want me to unlock? Or no? Extra for this, I think.
Yeah, no, let's just keep going.
Keep going. Okay. we go.
Cool. All right, we're gonna go for a take. Quiet, everybody. All right, and never shoot in a camera store. All right, and whenever you're ready.
You get it. Okay.
What's wrong? Elevator out?
I think I just broke up with Mark.
Really?
I think so.
So go home.
Nope, I'm ready to work. You win again.
You know, you could have told me this was your birthday.
Right, and there'd be no repercussions.
So now this is my fault.
Well, it's not my fault you don't have any family or friends or anywhere else to go.
Go. Go run to him like in the movies. You don't have to be here.
I do have to be here because of some stupid idea from Danny, who you had to hire because you stole his other stupid idea because you were drunk.
Don't get personal because you didn't do your work. And by the way, I know it kills you, but guess what? There is no Danny's idea. Everything that comes in here belongs to the agency.
You mean you?
As long as you still work here.
Is that a threat? Because I've already taken somebody up on one of those tonight.
Relax.
You know what? Here's a blank piece of paper. Why don't you turn that into glow coat?
Are you out of your mind? You gave me 20 ideas. I picked one of them that was a kernel and became that commercial.
So you remember?
I do. It was something about a cowboy. Congratulations.
No. It was something about a kid locked in a closet because his mother was making him wait for the floor to dry, which is basically the whole commercial,
It was a kernel.
which you changed just enough so that it was yours.
I made it into a commercial. What are we gonna do? Film the kid in the dark in the closet? It's the way it works. There's no credits on commercials.
You won the Clio.
It's your job. I give you money, you give me ideas.
I never say thank you.
And that's what the money's for. You know, you're young. You'll get your recognition. And honestly, it is absolutely ridiculous to be 2 years into your career and be counting all your ideas. Everything to you is an opportunity. You should be thanking me every morning that you wake up, as well as with Jesus, for giving you another day. Oh, come on. I'm sorry about the boyfriend, okay?
And it's a cut.
Okay.
Good. Awesome.
So we're running short on time, so we should just move
Yep,
on.
let's move on. That was
Okay.
perfect anyway.
Oh,
Good fucking job.
what's perfect?
There you go.
Running short on time, so we're just gonna move on to the next setup. There we go. But that was a pretty good take, we think. Yeah. So the next, what do you think? Fernando is always the voice of encouragement. So now we're going to again kind of cheat the set around, move the lighting a little bit to get her shot, basically. Okay. So you want a clean single on her as well?
Yeah.
So we're discussing where the camera is going to be for the next one. We kind of kept it looking down on Don, Justin in this case. So we might want to reverse that and looking up on her, which traditionally would give her more power than him, and she's the one that's like kind of demanding it. So we're showing her, and like she's being brave enough to face her boss. So we want to give her that power position. So if we do shoot her a little bit lower, that is going to be good for her. So we're going to test that out and see what works.
Are we going to be a little more POV on him? Like,
It doesn't have to be.
or rather,
It's fine if,
we
again,
want to be this side of him.
yeah,
So,
which is fine as long as we play with the wall.
well,
That's our major limitation.
I was thinking we should have cheated this way. Like just him at it.
Oh, we can.
So we can be.
I mean, I just wanted to move, like, give a space.
Yeah.
We can move that back.
Yeah.
We can go up again.
Sure.
Right.
Now you see it again?
And then we'll have to remark her.
Yeah,
closer.
I'll get it. Just try to see what's our limit on the frame. I need to see what.
Yep. There's no talking that can be done actually.
Yeah. Let's try to be.
Yeah, go for it. Let them know what you're trying to what we're doing.
I just said.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to, like I said, lower the angle a little bit more.
Basically, we're going to quickly test to see what our framing limitations are. And then after we get our kind of camera angle and lensing and everything decided, we will adjust our lighting exposure because it's clear immediately that because she's much closer to the light, it is way too bright on her. Fernando is going to mark her again
That's not.
after we get our kind of baseline, composition where we're going to be. So I need to come in even closer to you. Right where your feet are.
Yep.
Yeah, she can't go there. That's fine.
Half a step to the front.
Half a step forward, I think.
Half a step left to the left. This is you now.
Okay, right?
Yeah. Let me know what we need to change in terms of exposure.
Go to 35% or so. Is that 35?
This 37.
Go to 45 or 40.
I'm gonna.
So Fernando is now adjusting the lights, power.
45.
Okay, we are a tiny bit brighter. Let's try 43%. 43. That's better. Okay. So now we've got a similar exposure on her as we had in the first take. She's again. Oh, yep. That's a question. A combination of things. There's, which you can't really see from back there, but there's actually multiple exposure guides on the cameras, and I've got a waveform monitor, which kind of will let me know where in the frame is what brightness. And then there's also false color, which kind of does a very similar thing too, where it changes the kind of color of it's using like purple and green and gray to kind of show you where your exposure levels are. And then you can just kind of match it from there, you know? Yeah, it's kind of, a waveform monitor is kind of like that, but where a histogram is only telling you over the brightness spectrum, how much of the image is what brightness, A waveform monitor is telling you where, like in a horizontal axis, where in the frame is that brightness, right? So it actually gives you an image. It's just it's two-dimensional in a sense, you know. There was a question over here as well.
I have a question. In terms of story setting, how do you figure out how many frames you want to take for a particular scene? Like right now, by the third one, is there any chance you might have a fourth one or a fifth one? Like how do you actually?
Absolutely, yeah. General rule of thumb is at least get triangle coverage, which is your kind of wide shot, shot, and reverse shot. Obviously, you know, your particular style of the film or of the director of photography or the director will change. You may not even get a wide shot, or maybe you don't even get the one shot of an actor. You just never see that actor's face. It depends on what you're going for, but kind of the general rule of thumb is like, just get the wide shot that has both of them in it, shot of this person, and that's kind of like a good place to start. And then from there you can get insert shots. Maybe you get close-ups of certain things like their hands, or a close-up again of their face, like a super close-up, or maybe it's something else unrelated to this. It depends on the style you're going for.
Good question. So the reverse angle that you shot of the male actor, Don, is over her right shoulder, more or less. And his eye position is the same. And now you're doing over his left shoulder, more or less. And how do you communicate with her since you've had to reposition, where her eyes will be directed?
We would tell her exactly that. Like we would see where it lies right now and see what works best given the composition we chose, and what feels more natural. I mean, how like it's kind of like just looking at it, you can see where she would normally be looking, and it's like if that works or not. I was like, you know what? Let's move it a little bit. Let's change it a little bit, and you have to cheat it in a way as well. But you're always adapting to that 180-degree rule, which whenever you have subject A and subject B, and then you stay at that invisible line on one side, unless you physically cross it with the camera, unless you show the crossing, or with the blocking, with an actor crossing to the other side. That way you don't have to have them both in the same frame to identify where you are as a viewer. Question, glasses.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. She was asking about Eyeline. I gotta get better at this.
Kind of also I guess this was made a little bit easier for us because we just cheated who she's actually talking to, right? The actor that she's talking to, we cheated him along with her. So the relation between the two subjects hasn't changed, right? It actually becomes even easier if you dirty it up, right? If you get kind of a more of a over the shoulder, or you get the actor that is being talked to in the frame, then it just automatically works. They're looking at that person, then there's really no need to adjust eyelining at that point, regardless of camera angles being, consistent, or anything like that.
Yeah, because let's say if the situation was here where given our set, we could only put the camera like close to the wall. We couldn't have the actor there because there was a wall there, and we just couldn't place the actor there. Then we would look exactly where the eye line would work best. But yeah, if the actor's there and everything's working fine, then you would do it like that.
Yep. All right. So we're set up, we think. So we're gonna go for our last couple of takes. Okay.
Cool. You guys ready? Mm-hmm. Cool. Let's go for it. Roll camera.
Camera speed.
And whenever you're ready.
What's wrong? Elevator out?
You just broke up with Mark.
Really?
Think so.
So go home.
No, I'm here. I'm ready to work. You win again.
You know, you could have told me it was your birthday.
Right, with no repercussions.
So now this is my fault.
Well, it's not my fault that you don't have a family or friends or anywhere else to go.
Ooh, go run to them like the movies. We don't need you here.
You do need me here because you stole Danny's idea and then you had to hire him because you were drunk.
Don't get personal because
Let's go back on that one again.
Yeah.
I do have to be here because of some stupid idea.
Stupid idea. Right, okay.
Let's try it again.
Sorry.
It's fine. Take a moment.
Go run to them like the movies. We don't want you here.
I do have to be here because of some stupid idea of Danny's that who you had to hire because you got drunk.
Don't get personal because you didn't do your work. And by the way, I know this kills you, but guess what? There is no Danny's idea. Everything that comes in here belongs to the agency.
You mean you?
As long as you still work here.
Is that a threat? Because I've already taken somebody up on one of those tonight.
We'll go on that one line again. Take a moment and do it again.
As long as you still work here.
Is that a threat? Because I've already taken up somebody on one of those tonight.
Relax.
You know what? There's a blank piece of paper. Why don't you turn that into a glow coat?
Are you out of your mind? You gave me 20 ideas. I picked one of them that was a kernel, became that commercial.
So you remember.
So you remember.
Pick it up again. 3, 2.
So you remember.
I do. It was something about a cowboy. Congratulations.
No. It was something about a kid who was locked in a closet because his mother couldn't finish drying the floor.
It's a kernel.
Let's go back again.
Yeah.
Which was basically the whole commercial at the end of the line.
Yeah.
Let's go back again.
No. It was something about a kid who was locked in a closet because he was waiting for his mother to finish. Which was basically the whole commercial.
It's a kernel.
You changed it just enough to make it your idea.
Pick it up again.
Which you changed. Okay.
It was a kernel.
Which you changed just enough to make it your idea.
I made it into a commercial. What are we gonna do? Film the kid in the dark in the closet? That's the way it works. There's no credits on commercials.
But you got the Clio.
It's your job. I give you money, you give me ideas.
You never say thank you.
That's what the money's for. That's what the money's for. And honestly, it is absolutely ridiculous to be... Sorry. That's what the money's for. You're young. You will get your recognition. And honestly, it is absolutely ridiculous to be 2 years into your career and be counting all your ideas. You should be thanking me every morning you wake up, as well as with Jesus for giving you another day. Come on.
Don't cut. Let's go back again. Give me a big sigh. Give me a big wash of emotion just before you leave.
Okay.
Okay. Pick up your lines again. Yeah.
Sure. That's what the money's for. You're young. You'll get your recognition. And honestly, it is absolutely ridiculous to be 2 years into your career and be counting all your ideas. Everything to you is an opportunity. You should be thanking me every morning you wake up, as well as with Jesus, for giving you another day. Come on. I'm sorry about your boyfriend, okay?
And that's cut.
Camera cuts.
All right, you got it.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
Microphone.
Microphone.
It's over there.
That's over where? Yes. So there you go. Any final questions before we wrap up? Question.
Is that a city zoom? Is that a zoom lens?
That is not a zoom lens. That is, I think, did we live on the 35 for the whole thing?
We did.
We lived on a 35.
Y35 and then
Yeah. Well, see, that's a good thing about quote unquote medium lenses. You know, they're pretty flexible. I know some filmmakers will shoot their entire movie on a 28 or on a 35. You usually keep telephotos for like specific shots. Any other questions? Online?
Anything on?
Oh.
They're talking about fruit and bacon.
Yeah. We usually cut these together and put them up whenever we have time, so it takes a little bit. But yeah, you'll usually find. I think we have them on Daniel's channel. The other ones we've done of these, they're adding up.
So there's a question online that she sounds a little quieter than he does. That is because we're actually sending the signal online through an entirely different microphone. It's this shotgun microphone here. We are recording from wireless lavaliers on each of the actors into the camera. So their levels are actually, after adjustments, are actually on par. It's just that this is a shotgun microphone. It's probably pointed more towards him at the moment than at her. And it's really far away, so. Yeah, he's also much louder in person. You know, or she's quiet. We can't tell, one of the two.
I'm loud. Cool.
Yeah.
You good?
Okay, so Daniel's gonna run through potentially something. I don't know. You got up and you started tapping your microphone. Like, let's go do this.
Everything?
Yeah. There's.
I have my own mic. Whoa. That's how I come in and ruin stuff at the end. That's my job. I don't need your mic.
You sure?
Yeah, no, I'm good. It's probably because of this. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We're testing the different audio qualities of this room by having me walk around with a lavalier mic. I actually wear it all the time, except when I'm sleeping, because I ended up with like breaking them at night when I roll over. But that way I'm always ready, just in case anybody wants me to stand up and start talking. I got the lavalier mic on.
Do you wear a waterproof one?
I do have a waterproof one for the shower.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but the pack's not waterproof, so I'm taking a shower like this with my hand outside. But anyways, thanks for coming to the dialogue day. We always enjoy doing these. We are doing another one at 3 if people came late or want to just hang out. Once you're here, you might as well stay. There's really no reason to leave. But if you're watching online, unfortunately, we do not record the next one, and it does have. Or are we going to record the next one?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, because I know I had heard that there was going to be a nude scene.
But we do upload the finished product.
Fernando was going to be doing a nude scene.
It might have been a cat or a dog.
Yes,
though.
and we are going to be uploading the final. Dave will, or Fernando.
Either or.
I say Dave because he did the last couple. Are going to edit this together so you guys can see the scene in a finished format. And we'll upload it and we'll make sure that we put it on social or whatever so you guys can find out where it is. I've been putting it on mine lately, or Dave puts it on his
There's a little
Facebook.
bit of a queue.
We kind of put them around. Yeah, Dave's working on it. He still has. What was the last one we did?
Well, there's
that the musical?
There's two. There's the musical.
Did you guys come for the musical? Oh, you missed the musical. That was
was
so
fun.
good. Oh, yeah.
And then there
so-
was the one after that.
Oh, and the one after that. We've done a lot of these. So apparently yes. Premiere.
Yes.
what
We
is the
edited
other one?
mostly on Premiere. Yeah.
Yeah,
I could use.
iMovie, but he
Whatever.
doesn't.
Well,
Yeah, Dave is quite capable of editing on whatever.
no,
we
yeah.
just happen to have
could
Premiere.
use Avid. Avid I like a
Yeah,
lot.
Avid is very nice.
It's a little more expensive than Premiere.
Plus,
And,
Avid is like that way. When people ask you what you're editing, be like, oh, Avid.
yeah,
it's-
Media Composer
A
is
little
great.
snobbier. Yeah, no, it actually is.
Mostly for the like media
Oh, you got Moleskine.
organization.
Oh, yeah, it's mostly.
We got Moleskine finally.
The Moleskine arrived. So if you were here at the beginning and you missed the part with the,
Huh?
I'm sorry.
Lightworks.
Lightworks. What is that? Editing stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Out of business.
He's the Lightworks rep. Don't tell him that. So right, there's lots of different ways to edit, but we use Premiere because we happen to have the whole Adobe suite of products that we use for other junk too. Anyways, so we're not going to record. Well, we will shoot the scene at 3 o'clock. So if you can't hang around, you'll at least be able to see the scene if you follow up on what we do. It's going to be from Batman. No, Barton Fink. They didn't tell me this time because they decided they were
Batman
taking over. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Next week is it Passover next week? No.
No. Single light portraits.
Oh, next week we're doing single light portraits. So we're back to photography if you guys want to come for that. And you're probably filmmakers, but it's always fun. We're going to make some portraits with one light. which is always seems like it would be an easy thing to do, but not for 3 hours. So we'll see what we figure out there. But Dave's pretty good at that. So we'll be back up next week with single light portraits. Always fun. Hopefully by then I will have gotten my lights back from Cliff. If not, we'll probably have to steal one from somebody. But I want to thank Arri, who gave us or sponsored this to give us the lights and stuff with these sky panels. They were really cool. We still have yet to use the L5. Maybe you're going to use it
We're
next.
going to probably use it next
We're
week.
going to use the L5 next, so if you guys didn't get to see that. And also the beautiful camera, which makes nice photos, I guess, and videos. It doesn't make photos at all, does it?
Photos?
Does not make photos.
Photos a second.
24 photos every single second.
Yeah.
Can
Well,
it
tech-
also make 60 photos a second?
You could.
Yes.
Okay, good, as long as it can do that.
And 120.
Yeah, and if you have questions, you can always ask. This might stay online, we think.
Yes, they have been staying on.
They have
have
been, but there was a thing with the YouTubes that was like a issue. I'm blaming YouTube. I don't know what the
Sometimes
real
they
problem
are,
was, but
sometimes they're not staying on.
but lately they've been staying
Yeah,
online. So if
lately
you
they
didn't miss or you came in late or whatever, we got this. But next week's Portraits with One Light, the week after that is Passover.
I believe you're correct on that one.
I'm going to keep saying it's Passover the next week until eventually it is Passover. We are doing one more filmmaker related one. Are we doing an interview one on the 20th?
April 6th, you have advertising photography shooting to a layout.
Right, April 6th is for advertising photography. So basically we steal the ideas from the young advertising executive as we see here, and then we use them for stuff. But I think then it's Passover. Then on the 20th, I think it is, we do interviews. That's why I wanted to mention that, because these are probably filmmakers here, I'm assuming.
The 20th.
Chewy will not be here.
The 20th, Fernando and I will not be here.
That's right, it will just be me doing interviews, I think. So come for that, that'll be fun. If you've never seen me do it by myself, it's kind of comical, so we'll see how that works. They're going to be doing, oh, by the way, I don't know if you know this is the thing we forgot.
Thank you.
Number 31. We launched a new show last month called Film Forum, which is hosted by my two esteemed colleagues here. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. They shoot a short in the first episode, and then they break it down as we go through not to be mistaken with Mikhail Kila as the breakdown.
Right.
But they do break it down. So they spend, 4 episodes? Talking about the various parts of it. So check that out if you didn't see it. It gets a little bit more in depth. It's on Adorama TV, which is adoramatv.com.
The second short should be going up on the May the 3rd.
Oh, the second short, which is actually Halloween-ish.
Yeah.
Well, we shot it in a
It was
Halloween set,
Yeah.
and it's pretty scary. So be on the lookout for that.
The first,
Any
first short
questions
was
before
in
we?
your apartment, and the second one was in
Yeah,
an
we
actual-
went to a real studio. That's what
studio.
happens. That's how life is. The first one we shoot in Fernando's apartment. If you're working on your first short, where are you going to shoot it? Fernando's apartment. Exactly. All right.
It's a little small in the living room, but yeah.
Yeah, he'll give you a good deal. There's great pizza there. What's the name of that pizza place? I'm giving him a shout out right now. Janos?
No nose.
No-Nos?
No nose pizza.
N-O-N-N-O.
N-O-N-N-O?
Yeah, very good.
How do you say that? No-Nos. There you go.
Yeah.
So No-Nos Pizza is very good if you live in Brooklyn. That's like, I don't know, is there one here in the city? Is that what you're asking me? No, it was in Brooklyn.
No.
No, it's no.
No.
I think it's
no.
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 Yeah, no, that's like what your grandmother says to you. No, right? Or like a second grade teacher. In any case, it's in Brooklyn, so if you're in Brooklyn, you have a pizza at No-Nos and go shoot at Fernando's apartment. Dave lives in Harlem, so you won't get anything up there.
Yeah.
And I'm upstate, which we're going to have a barbecue.
Yeah.
Where
There's also-
do you live? We're just going to tell everybody on YouTube where everybody lives. Yeah.
Do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, not your exact address.
I have a real place. I promise. I'm not couch surfing. I
He's
live
a-
in a little diddly called Hoboken, New Jersey.
Oh, Hoboken.
Hoboken.
Nice.
People, the train calls it Hoboken. It's Hoboken. That's what I call it.
Hoboken, New Jersey, home of, birthplace of, or something, Frank Sinatra.
And baseball.
And baseball, apparently. So there you go. So, anyways, it's lunchtime.
You didn't
We'll see you back at what? Did we close? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can clap for
Where are
Dave.
you? Neighborhood.
Where are you from?
Up in the heights.
Washington Heights.
Oh, Washington Heights.
Also a Manhattan person.
Nice.
Home of the.